Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 2nd of April. Now, disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Let's have a look at ES. Now, yesterday morning, we had fixed sell signals on ES, NQ, RTY, and YM. And if you caught the post-market charts, then we also added sell signals, or hourly sell signals on DAX, ESTX, and Nikkei. That is actually a first, although mainly because I've only been covering Nikkei for a few months. But it's very, very rare to see them all line up in the same direction, and they've all made the possible near-miss target overnight, with ES down currently about 100. So that could be it. I was expecting to see the weekly pivot as the obvious retracement target. It's slightly below it at the moment. We're not setting up any hourly positive divergence, but we could be setting up for a rally here. I am wondering if we might do a high retest and potentially set up a double top, but I'm leaning towards the short side. Clearly, the war is far from over. Trump's threatening war crimes and various other things, and he's expecting to intensify the war over the next 2 or 3 weeks. This is not likely to be a great couple of weeks for the markets. So it's going to be bad for oil, and it's very likely to be bad for NQ. And we've got all of the cells. We've got all of the patterns set up, which I'll come to for the next leg down, and I'm expecting to see the next leg down. All right, so NQ has also made the possible near miss target. We had double bottoms on ES and NQ, which made target, of course. RTY, we had a small double bottom, which hasn't made the the minimum target yet. We got a larger double bottom, which I'm thinking probably won't break up. On YM, we've got a larger double bottom, which hasn't broken up and probably won't. On DAX, this looks like a bear flag forming. This on ESTX, this looks like a bear flag forming. And on Nikkei, we are breaking up slightly if you see this as double bottom, but I think this is actually a flag as well. In which case, we're halfway back to the lows, and I'm expecting to see really downside all around. Let's have a look at how this looks on the bigger picture charts. All right, looking at SPX. SPX, I was looking for a test of the double resistance at the daily middle band and the 200 DMA, and we almost reached the daily middle band yesterday, so that is where I was looking for. The hourly buy signal has reached target. All right, looking at Qs, I was looking for a back test of the double resistance at the daily middle band and the 200 DMA, and we saw it. And we will see how it goes from here, but that's the obvious resistance. I was expecting to see a fell there, and I think we're going to get it. We didn't have any divergence on the hourly chart apart from on the RSI 5, which has obviously made target. In terms of the patterns down, in terms of SPX, we've got a double top which is broken down with a target in the 6042 to 6121 range. I'm looking for that target. So I think we might go a little lower. I've got the 50% retracement just over 5,900, and I'm thinking we could make that. Looking at the Qs, we've got a double top, which is broken down with a target in the 523 to 524 range, basically. That is pretty close to the 50% retracement there, just under 520, and I'm looking for that target. Looking for, we could still break up here. News could break out, peace could break out, news could come, which is good, but I'm not expecting to see it. And in the absence of that, the obvious path is down. On Dia, no, we didn't make target on the RSI 5 daily buy signal. We didn't make target, on the IWM1 either. I was thinking we might see a bit of a breakup over the daily middle band. We didn't actually see that really. The close was at 465. Daily middle band was at 465, so it basically went up and closed on the band. I'm expecting it to fail from there. Obviously, it's significantly down from there already. And actually, the break back over the 200 DMA, ideally, the fail is the next day, and it looks like the fail may be the next day, which would be today. In terms of the hourly chart there, we had an open RSI 14 buy signal, and that made target. We've got a little level bottom here, which is trying to break up a little, but I'm not really expecting to see any more from it. As I said, unless we see some good news, Strait of Hormuz opens, the Iranians start making noises like they want to surrender, but I'm not really expecting to see any of that. I don't think that was ever particularly likely. and it doesn't seem any more likely now. All right. In terms of the daily chart on IWM, we've got an RSI 5 buy signal that hasn't reached target. That could fail, or actually just come down and not make a lower low below this low on RSI on the next move down, and then break up from there. We saw a clear break back over the daily middle band. I'm thinking that's probably going to break down again today. Nice looking level bottom, but it's not likely to deliver anything. But what this rally has delivered is that it gives me trend lines to start forming decent patterns on the next leg down. I was saying that it didn't look complete, and really it needs another leg down to form some decent patterns. This is what I'm expecting to get from the next move down, and from there we'll have a clearer idea of what might happen then. Here, of course, we've got a head and shoulders which broke down with a target in the 216 area. That's slightly under the 50%, and that's what I'm looking for. On the hourly chart, we didn't have any divergence, and waiting to see. All right, DAX. DAX, we got up to the daily middle band and closed slightly above it. This would be a great deal of day to fail below it, and chances are that's exactly what we're going to see. Didn't have any divergence here. On Nikkei, we did have an RSI 5 buy signal fix. That hasn't made target. We came up to test the resistance of the daily middle band, and chances are it's going to fail there. I'm leaning lower across the board, and we've got a head and shoulders here. Nothing really on DAX, but we've got a head and shoulders here, which is broken down in the 43.2K area. I'm a bit more skeptical about that than I am on the ones on the US indices, but we will see how it goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, if the war is escalating again, I'd be leaning towards this going higher. We had a 60-minute buy signal fixed last night. That's now reached the possible near miss target. I am looking higher. As I've mentioned before, even if we do see hostilities stop in April, when we saw the last crisis in 22, and I was covering this in my last post last week on the US dollar. The longest trend upwards was the trend upwards on DX, and I'm thinking that may well be the case again here. Not seeing an awful lot in the other currencies. GBP, Euro, I'm thinking we go and make the flag target here now, which we haven't made yet. GBP USD is heading back into the lows. USD JPY, we had a buy signal. It's made target, made the possible near miss target, but we'd likely go higher. I've got a target at 162, which I would like to see. In terms of USD CAD, we had this weird bear flag, but that broke up from that, went over the January high, and is likely continuing higher shortly. Australian dollar, we had a head and shoulders breakdown. That's where the target, the 0.663 area, and I'm looking for that to make a target too. NZUSD, possible little level bottom set up here, but chances are that's going down as well. All right, looking at bonds now. Bonds is slightly more confusing because we've got sell signals fixed on the daily charts for TYX and TNX, and a daily buy signal fixed on TLT. These are all suggesting that bonds go higher. As with the DIA and IWM ones, it doesn't mean we can't go lower first, though. And so far, whenever the war is intensified, bonds have been dropping. We may well see that resume. ZN, again, likely follows the same. In terms of oils, obviously they've been having a good night. In terms of the May spike, March 9 spike rather, that was up to 113.37. Looks as though we may actually be hitting that potentially in a few minutes, but there's a pretty good chance we're going to hit it today, and it's certainly likely to be overtaken significantly on the next move down in equities and next move up on oil. HO has already made higher highs. RBOB has already made higher highs. No, not quite. It's still waiting to get over this high here, but I'm expecting higher highs. We had buy signals here. These are we had one on CL. No, we didn't have one on CL. HO, we had one on RBOB, and that's made the possible near miss target. All right, looking at coil, we're not seeing the data for today here yet because this actually trades within normal trading hours. I'm expecting to finally see the March 9th high on this broken, although obviously on the RTH chart on the spot prices have already been broken. All right, looking at the metals, GC, Seen a bit of a pullback on a sell signal here on gold. That's made target. I'm thinking now we're seeing precious metals move down last time when we were seeing the markets go down and oil go up. I'm thinking that may have changed. I thought we were probably just following the obvious what precious metals were already doing. I thought gold was forming a bull flag. We now have a beautiful bull flag, and it looks ready to break up. I'm thinking we've still got a good chance of making this IHS target and of going higher and of progressing into a retest of the high. Because if this has finished this move, this might actually return as a flight to safety destination. In which case, well, then you should get some action on that. All right, SI, I'm still wondering about a bear flag here. Palladium, still wondering about a bear flag. Platinum, still wondering about a bear flag. HG, I'm still wondering about a bear flag. So I am wondering about more downside on the others of these. We will see whether or not we get it. Important to remember that copper is not a precious metal. And that likely will go down with equities. All right, looking at the other commodities, KC, looks like an overall bear flag forming, 60-minute bicycle fixed. Sugar, wouldn't be surprised to see this resume the upside, the uptrend. CC, I'm thinking this is either a triangle or an ABC flag, which would tend to go a little higher. We will see how that goes. I had some negative divergence here, but I actually measured it this morning and it wasn't negative divergence. CT, CT is, I think, probably going to resume the uptrend here. I've got some big patterns. I'm hoping to get a post out today looking at the big patterns on cotton and wheat and corn. I'm looking at lumber, wondering about a retest of this high. Wheat, bullish consolidation, I think. Corn, bullish consolidation, I think. Soy, I'd like to see this go and retest this low and possibly make this target here because I think we're forming an IHS. We could give us a nice bullish target, nice bullish setup on soy as well as the other three. Looking at ZL, lost in space, wondering about a retest this high, but probably going to go down a bit more with soy. Live cattle is taking off. And this was what it was going to do if it wasn't forming a double top here. I was leaning towards it, just proceeding higher. That's what it's doing so far. No negative divergence. HE, I'm thinking we've formed a flag, and that may be ready to go higher as well. Waiting to see how that develops. And obviously, it took a while for the flag to form, so it might take a while to break up too. We'll see. All right, great. In that case, no questions. I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. I'll catch you guys again on Monday. All right, cheers.